al khair, buongiorno, bonsoir, come sta, dove andiamo stasera? How is everyone? E caro ia uenco. Merci. Let's get this underway. Here we go. Technology, eh? Where's your sugar? Aha. Welcome if you've just joined us. On my Twitter account, you'll see debunking tips. And on that Twitter account, I just have to. That's fine. So you will see that I'm about to expose a world exclusive on a man who was shot by a police officer here in London.
Sorry, I was.
I'm just about to leave.
How are you?
I was just about to go out.
That's all right. Sorry, I was giggling.
Oh, okay.
I've stuck a sticker.
I just thought you might be offended, so I thought
Oh no,
yeah.
no, take
Oh,
your
that's
time.
great.
We
Yeah,
don't mind.
I'm just updating the public about my findings. Probably gonna be
Oh,
very
okay.
important news.
No, take your time. Have a seat if you like.
That's fine. Is there a seat outside? No, there isn't.
There's some benches outside.
Yeah, I'll do it outside because I'm loud. Multitasking here. It's not just the women that can multitask. We can multitask as well. Hey, multitasking. Welcome if you've just joined us. I want to share with you some information that happened to me. Some information that I come to find during my presidential case. Cheers, everyone. My left hand there. So, Sheikh Imran Hussein, please turn away for a second. When I was released from my 17-day hunger strike, I was referred to a place where it was called the re-enablement team, re-enablement. And in there was a person I was introduced to who was allocated to me. This person works in the local community with people who actually do have a mental health condition. Even if you've joined us, good evening or afternoon, good evening, good morning. My name is Sam. I am British Lebanese, 17-day hunger striker, updating His Excellency Michel Sleiman of my quote presidential case unquote. Updating His Excellency Saeed Hariri updating His Excellency Professor Ibrahim Musawi, all equally. It's what makes my country so beautiful. All from different sects. You know, this pavement here that we're looking at. You see this pavement here? I could stand here for 10 minutes and have people from different countries walk past it from all over the world. That is beauty. That is beautiful. That is a gift that I'm so lucky to be in London to be a British Lebanese. A rare British Lebanese who's not only a 17-day hunger striker, but a British Lebanese who comes from the family that is not here to change the world. But my family changed UK, Ireland, Scotland and Wales laws because of a case that set a precedence. And not only that, it's impacted millions and millions of people who are tenants, i.e. what is a tenant here in England? Tenant is someone who has a tenancy contract with the local government housing housing organisation. We are deemed as tenants. If you're a private person buying a house or a flat, you are deemed as a resident. Only recently, while we're drifting from that subject, the former ambassador to Lebanon, Tom Fletcher, I was I was tweeting to him saying, change the laws on slavery in Lebanon. And they were trying to separate the two and take away the human rights from one and the other. So they use the words domestic worker and migrant worker, which is disgusting. And I urge the new government, whoever they may be, to make a serious reconciliation on slavery in Lebanon. Because let's not kid ourselves, there is slavery in Lebanon. There is slavery in Lebanon where they believe that that Asians are less of a human than others, like Bangladesh, like India, like Pakistan, like Malaysia, like Philippines, like all those other indigenous countries, where they treat them like shit. And I have a special part in my heart of empathy for migrant workers. So, little shout out while I've drifted there, please change the laws. Migrant workers and domestic workers, get rid of that, get rid of that, enforce some proper laws. I'm seeing people being killed, committing suicide and being stripped of their money, who are migrant workers in Lebanon. And that stigma of you coming over from the Gulf, whereby you're trying to deem yourselves as higher authority than anyone else. That stigma needs to be thrown out of Lebanon, that Gulf stigma. It's disgusting.
So I kind of like that we have known each other as well this time.
So, coming back to the being referred to a re-enablement team, I'm going to pull out a cigarette for this. Do you smoke? I could give you a cigarette if you like. Yeah. Tell you what, there's 4 there.
To lead these workers out of poverty
Sorry.
and hardship.
Say that
The
again, please.
workers
Yeah.
in Guevara led to revolt against his own father about workers that were suffering in their country.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had to rise up against his own father, who was the leader at the time.
Okay.
So I believe now that wages should increase in line with inflation for all workers
Right.
in any citizenship
Right.
throughout the world and residents.
Do you know, I agree with everything you just said there.
Because poverty, when people can get up and go to work but don't even be housed first, is a catch-22 situation that many people face in the day. When they're asked to get up and go and find a job and get from under my feet, stop smoking out, you know, stinking out your bedroom and just lazing around and wait for it to wash and clean for you. Not taking you for granted, no sign on. You know, all these sort of things like, you know, schemes that have never worked and we've signed on, looked for work and never found work. And the job centre are supposed to help us and they've never assisted a majority of us into actually finding and getting that interview and getting that job.
Yeah.
They have failed time and time again.
They have indeed, yeah.
Until unemployment's soared, until it's been as high as, you know, any hilltop, any mountain, you know what I mean, that can cover all the population.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I'll just appreciate you giving me that feedback.
That's right. Jacob Barrow is a very well respected person in Rome. That working with the wage increase again. You need incentive.
Thank you. This is just a person who is sitting here having a coffee. I'm not going to show their face because I haven't asked them and it's not nice. I'm live here on the World Wide Web. And so this man, you're welcome. Yeah, this man from the re-enablement team, what he done was, he met me, he came to help me with a few outstanding matters I had with housing, the local council. And I informed him of my story. And then he got to know about my presidential case, he got to know about my hunger strike, and he addressed me as an assistant clinician, or that was what he was quoting on his emails, or he told me that directly. I remember the word assistant clinician, which means he ain't trained and qualified. That's what it means. But nevertheless, he was dealing with people in Islington who had, who actually did have mental health problems. Now, after he read my story, and this is very revealing what I'm about to say. Everything I have is revealing, and they need to be downloaded and saved because my podcast can be pulled down at any time. This live podcast right now, although it's live, I have to, once it's finished, turn it on before it becomes live, goes out to the public. Right now, the few that can see my podcast can see it via obtaining illegally my private link, and as a result they're there. But I'm not estranged to what's happening around me. And so this man here, he takes aboard everything I have to say, and I fill him up with the information I had. And the conclusion, if I may narrow it down on this occasion to this aspect here, the conclusion of what he had to say, that he wanted me to write about how his services were to me. He wanted an endorsement from me that he helped me. And he also wanted to write an article about me. Yeah, he wanted to write an article about me. As a 17-day hunger striker, it's not new to me that I've had people want to interview me. It's not new. So this assistant clinician wanted to write a report, put it into his profile. He said to me he wanted to put it into his profile because he wanted to, he see a niche in the market where the mental health services are being neglected, and he wanted to start up a business. And this is what he was telling me when he goes private and have that service there. And he wanted to have that on his profile, that he met a 17-day hunger striker, British Lebanese, me, who received a phone call off of the president of Michels, president of Lebanon. At the time, he was a president, Michel Sleiman of Lebanon. And the psychiatrist couldn't even fucking believe it until one of them came to my house and sat down and see the direct message off of Michel Sleiman to me, asking me for my phone number, asking me for my details. And that was subsequently, after he sent that email, I received a phone call within 15 minutes from Babda Palace. Now, let's put it this way, I clued him up with what I knew at the time, at that time that I met him over that period, and then subsequently a year after. He concluded to me, Sam, you don't have a mental health problem. I can't help you anymore. You don't have a mental health problem. And because of that, I can't help you. Now, there's some more information that I'm not going to release unless it's officials, or if a judge to ask me, then for God's sake, of course I will tell him. Or an official, or any fucking one for that matter, who's official and legal, that a right in asking me for that legally. But I've already spoke about this individual, and I'm about to give you some information about Dosa case, the shooting in London's undergrounds, the Brazilian who was shot dead by the police. And I'm about to tell you right now how to deal with police who have a gun pointing at you. But before I do that, I have to put my mobile phone in such a way where you can see me and I can stand there freely. Let's see if that works. Yeah. That'll do. And then all of a sudden an ambulance goes past. This assistant clinician, or so he tells me, who later changed his role into a different role and was in a different job, had access to seeing information that other people couldn't see. And the computerized system in the mental health isn't a one computerized system, isn't a one central motherboard database, this isn't a one brain location where everything is encapsulated into the NHS reports, the other hospitals, the private hospitals, and so on. No. It is in different parts of the system. Now I'm getting a battery power sign coming up. So I'm going to tell you now what he told me when he was stopped. He's black man, by the way. When he was stopped by police who pulled a gun out on him and pointed at him. He said to me, Sam, I'm going to teach you how to deal with if you're confronted by a police officer who's got a gun pointed at you. And this man that I'm talking about that was allocated to me is the same man who was allocated to the Mendoza case geezer who was shot by the police. Yeah? Apparently he had a mental health condition, but that mental health condition was not as such to deem him dangerous. And what I'm telling you is breaking news. And what the chief of that operation to go down to London's Underground and shoot this man, this Brazilian man, what his duty was to do was to contact Anton Gregory. Now you know the name of the man who wanted to write about me, the alleged assistant clinician. He was supposed to call him. He was on 24-hour call. There's a system which says police has access to all these contacts that know these alleged mental health people. Some of them are, a lot of them are. Most of the people I went to, 99% of them were. I mean, I was the 1% that wasn't. And so, what happened? So, I kind of drifted because I'm angry about it. So he told me that the police didn't call him to see if his condition was so bad, in which way the police had to approach the matter, how to tackle it, you know, and so on. They never done it. So I'm giving you breaking news, and I've given this out on my Facebook, and I've given this out on YouTube before in my podcasts. And I'm going to refer you back to the title of this podcast right now. Anton Gregory never received a phone call. They just shot him. They shot him point blank. Point blank, close distance. He was like that probably, I don't know. I didn't read too much into it. But Anton Gregory, coming back to the point, he was confronted once where the police was there and they had a gun on him. And he put his hands up like that. So I'm telling you what he's telling me. So he's put his hands up and he had them there. And the police were shouting to him, tell him bring your hand down. They were telling him to bring his hand down. Right? That's what the police were telling him. He said, no, I'm not moving my hands from where they are. They're staying where they are. This is Anton Gregory telling the police who have stopped him on a check and pulled out a gun here in London. And he kept his hands up like that, like I'm demonstrating to you what he told me. And I'm relaying to you, the public, what he told me. Because I'm a member of my community. And it is my duty as a British Lebanese citizen to inform the public of my findings along my journey of my presidential case. And that's what I'm doing. That is legal advice that was given to me. And I quote what that legal advice was again. And it's important that I repeat it again because it's fact. And the quote was coming from a mental health lawyer who specialises in people who actually do have a mental health. She's telling me, Sam, quote, I urge you to inform the public of your findings and to comb your hair. Not really. Unquote. I'll repeat that. I urge you to inform the public of your findings. Unquote. So please, I beg of you, tell me what that means when a lawyer tells you to tell the public what happened to you. I'm a 17-day hunger striker. She's never had in her entire fucking life someone who's received a phone call from the president and told the police and CID that if you're arresting me on a quote charge that's called harassment, and it wasn't possible that I could have been harassing the alleged person I was harassing, councillor Alice Perry, allegedly, because it was her I was tweeting to. Why? Because Boris Johnson had referred me to those councillors himself, and I've got the email to prove it from Natalie or Natasha. I made that email public recently. It's been made public. Yeah? That was when Boris met me. Wished me a happy birthday. Wished me Merry Christmas. Said to me he can't promise, but he'll try and help me. And that was when I was chasing the contacts that he gave me. And that was when MP Emily Thornberry called the police and had me arrested over harassment charge. I'm a British Lebanese. I'm a former Hewlett Packard employee with over 27 years in the IT sector. Yes, you better believe it. Not a lot of people worked for Hewlett Packard. You have to be with a considerable background in the IT sector to get a job. You have to have qualifications. And although I'm here as evidence to you who all think to yourselves, because you don't have qualifications, well, I reached that level without the qualifications. I was headhunted for it, as well as headhunted for many other jobs. Several, at least 3, 4 I can remember. Even in Hewlett Packard I was headhunted. And so when they try to cancel you, when they try to ridicule you here in Islington, where I've lived since 1973, yeah, and then it falls back on them, their face. Why is it falling back on their face? Because the people that I had my interactions with were of high leadership in the world. A president of Lebanon, a prime minister. Why is billionaire prime minister sending his journalists to the coffee shop and Starbucks that I was in? Something was going on. I don't know. I still don't know right until now. Look up the headlines that it generated the following day after my chat with Saeed Hariri. Quote, "I will leave politics if the people vote me out," unquote. And that was when I was cornering him texting him, tweeting to him in a tweet saying, "You are like Assad. Both of you had power handed over to you by your fathers." I said, "This is wrong and this is nepotism." And that was when he responded to that tweet. Little did I know for the last 3-4 days, several days maybe, that I was being tracked by the billionaire, sending in these journalists into the coffee shop and outside the coffee shop that I was in. Yeah. Yeah. People don't realise the impact of what they do. Yeah, them billionaires, they're blind to the facts, yeah. When they want to think, yeah, what they do is they don't use their head, they go and use their advisors. And whoever are appointed to be their advisors. And whoever has infiltrated them, who knows? Yeah, I'm getting a bit complicated, ain't I, for some of you out there. My case is presidential. So now you know that when you got your hands up in the air and police have got a gun pointing at you, keep it there, don't move it. Keep it there. That's what he told me. Now, I'm not relaying this information as a professional telling you what to do, because I'm not a professional in that field. I'm a professional in the IT sector, in the information technology sector. I'm ITIL trained, Information Technology Infrastructure Library. I have qualifications which are equivalent to O-levels, but I never went into education. And my advice to you lot out there is, now that you are in London, instead of whining about all the foreigners coming over here because we're going over bombing their countries, yeah, and nicking their resources, instead of whining and starting to jump on the wagon of the racists like Tommy Robinson, what's that slut's name, Hopkins, and all them other ones that have been cancelled and now they've been reinvented again and being re-endorsed by the likes of your Andrew Tate. Look up my tweet exposing Andrew Tate. Look up my tweet on debunking tips. Look up how they're trying to change the religion Islam to this new world order religion. Check it out, look it up. Those who are becoming or converting to Islam, yeah, for the money, for obtaining some kind of pecuniary advantage by deception. I don't know what the terminology is, do I? I don't know what it is. But look them up. Yeah? They're trying to twist Islam. But they can't do that. They're trying to exclude sheikhs out there from going to a mosque. Since when is it that sheikhs like Sheikh Imran Hussein should be banned from going to a mosque? Why is he banned from going to East London Mosque or some of the other mosques? There's an attack on Islam going on where they're trying to twist it and make the people think it in a really malicious way. So be careful. Yeah? And I debunk those who go out there and try and convert. You know what that's called? It's called Frankists. Frankism. Where you penetrate a religion, you go in there and you become that member of that religion and pretend you're worshipping that religion. That's Frankists. That's what happens in Saudi Arabia, where the Jewish monarchy is the Jewish monarchy, but everybody else is led to believe that they are the Muslims, the Wahhabis. Again, I'm going to make it absolutely very clear, yeah? The advice that I've just given out just now. Have I got a bogey in my nose? I should come up close so you could tell me live, innit? I do love a live podcast. A journalist once told me, the only journalist I ever allowed to interview me, his name was Morris Herman, Rip Morris Herman. He died of mysterious reasons. He left this country because the government here were trying to stop him from talking. He went to Cambodia, got married, and a short amount of time after that he passed away. Morris Herman interviewed many people, real life people. He deemed some of them the pioneers of our time. One of them was Jeremy Corbyn, that he interviewed. Syrian Girl he's interviewed. He's interviewed me, he's interviewed several others, but there's nothing pioneering about me. I'm just a British Lebanese Londoner who's got that. So you need to upload these videos that I send out because they're going to take them down, yeah? Police are going to use one way or another to discredit me or to ridicule me. And my status, my human rights, my status as a responsible adult has been stripped from me. My privacy has been stripped from me. The Lebanese embassy made violations which are extraordinary. And if you look at my Twitter account, you'll see that I don't allow just anyone to follow me, yeah? Because I ain't that stereotype, yeah? You got to be of quality to follow me, yeah? Or I'll leave you alone, but you got to show your account. Otherwise, you just get blocked. Like all the rats. And I've blocked thousands. Yeah, thousands. I've had hundreds hundreds of followers, hundreds, but I blocked them. If you're not there to get my message out, as my lawyer told me, then, you know, you're wasting my time, yeah? I'm doing what my lawyer told me to do. I'm informing the public of my findings. I asked her for clarification what she meant of, quote, I urge you to inform the public of your findings. I said, like, inform them on social media? She said, yeah. I said, like YouTube, Twitter? She said, yes. Yeah? Right until now, I'm being restricted from seeing my mum because of people who have infiltrated my family. This is British Lebanese reporting to you about my presidential case. And at any moment, either sides of the governments, either sides of these people who I mentioned, you can stop this video right away. I could take them down off the net. Just give me my accountability. I'm not here asking for changing the laws. I'm not here doing that. My family already changed British Lebanese laws in this country. What did you do for your country? Why is the Lebanese embassy in London putting a stop to me receiving accountability? Why have we got Zionists who are slagging down in the Lebanese embassy, slagging down a political leader, Professor Ibrahim Moussawi? Why is Ali Bannout, insulting him to me in a fucking phone call? Yeah? I want him removed from working in the Lebanese embassy here from London. I want him interrogated by Lebanese officials. And I want to be available when that happens. And I'm ready to come out to Lebanon for it. On that note.